Hello everyone, my name is Nicholas McIver and welcome to my Miskasoan story. For my final assignment, I decided to go for a treaty walk around Wascana trails as I thought that would be a great way to highlight the ways that I have cultivated learning opportunities in this class. The walk allowed for me to reflect on my own ancestry and how it plays a vital role in understanding who I am in relation to the treaties and my sense of self, otherwise known as Miskasoan. For my art piece, I decided to draw certain landmarks that were significant to me that I saw along the walk, and then I would also show the route that I took for this exact treaty walk. My ancestry has allowed me to benefit greatly from the treaties. At the moment, I live on Treaty 4 territory and I have my entire life. Most of my ancestry comes from Europe, and without treaties, settlers would not have been able to live on the land. It is important to understand that without treaties, I would not be living on this land and be privileged with living in Canada as I identify myself as a settler. It is essential to acknowledge the reason that I am even able to live in this country, and it also showcases how treaties have played an essential role in my own life. This idea highlights how we are all ultimately treaty people. Overall, treaties have played an essential role in my identity. However, it was just until recently I realized the importance of them to my life. Before I start the treaty walk, I just wanted to acknowledge my background as a white, cisgendered male who has white privilege in every aspect of my life. Although I do have white privilege, it is important as a treaty person and as a becoming teacher to use that privilege in order to create a more just society and work towards truth and reconciliation. It is important to become an ally for marginalized groups such as Indigenous people, as well as to educate everyone about the injustices that still happen in today's society. There are a lot of normative narratives that are present within our society, and it is essential as an educator to work towards breaking these subconscious biases that people may have. I hope to bring the concept of Mayo Wasatoan into the classroom so that my students can work towards being accepting of everyone and creating good relationships. On my walk, this idea would be emphasized by the large hills in the area. The hills signify challenges that I need to overcome, and I believe that breaking biases can be a very difficult task. However difficult it may be, I still need to work my hardest to overcome these biases and work on climbing the largest of hills. My educational journey regarding treaties was not extensive until university and this class. I did not learn very much about the treaty understandings in my elementary and high school education. The extent of my understanding of treaties is almost non-existent. In elementary, we would learn what treaties are, and in high school, I learned about what the Crown had promised to the Indigenous people. This not only taught me a warped perception of what truly happened, but it also didn't teach me about the true meaning and intent of the treaties, like this class has. This lack of teaching of the intent of treaty makes understanding what truly happened very difficult, and it is impossible to move forward to a just society if there is a misconception about treaties. That is why it is important as a becoming teacher to focus on the core concept of telling difficult and necessary truth, otherwise known as tapawiwan. For this, I would discuss how the treaty promises have not been upheld, and that this has had many adverse effects on the Indigenous people. While on my walk, I saw a mighty oak tree. This oak tree emphasizes the cycle of life, but also the cycle of knowledge. Each year, seeds fall from the tree that allows for new seedlings to bloom. I thought this represents teachers, as it is our duty to continue the chain of knowledge regarding the intent of treaties. If we do not do this, then the saplings will never grow, and our students will not truly understand the intent of treaties like they should. It is crucial to understand that treaties last as long as the sun shines, the grass grows, and the river flows. As a person of Treaty 4 territory, it is important that I take these words into consideration in my everyday life. My interpretation of this quote is that it is vital to be a treaty person every day, and therefore I cannot pick and choose what days I plan to teach for truth and reconciliation. It is crucial to always integrate these understandings into the way I live my life, but also to the way that I teach my future students. This is my way of living treaties as a sacred undertaking and as a sacred promise to one another, otherwise known as Kisi Asatamatoan. On my walk, I went past a river, and I believe that the river reflects this idea. A river cannot pick and choose what days it wants to be a river, just like I cannot pick and choose the days that I want to be a treaty person. I must always embody these ideas, just like the river continues to flow every day. It is important to note that I do not see myself as an expert in understanding treaties, and that this is a process as I continue down the path of life. This is emphasized by the treaty walk, and how by doing treaty walks frequently, we can learn together and begin to synthesize the knowledge regarding the intent of treaties that would have been previously lost. There's so much for me to still learn, but I now know what I need to do as a becoming teacher to resist this cycle of marginalization.